forgive me if this is a bit of a rush for this week, but I'm literally trying to sort everything for the convention. I've still got to print off my tickets, so I better start moving that out of the way so I can get my tickets done as soon as I'm done with this video, as it's been sent over for Owen to put up on the channel. I'm moving all this stuff during the video. You'd have thought I'd have done it beforehand. Well, no. So, welcome to another indie-focused wrestling recap. Hopefully you enjoyed last week's. Wasn't a huge amount to cover, from what I remember, which, considering where I am in terms of my head, probably isn't the best. So, yeah, we got quite a few shows to go through and cover, some of which may have already happened by the time this video goes up, which is a bit awkward, but, you know, I guess I'll have to deal with it. So, a few little bits of news, indie related. First up, now, the Elite CMLL thing I've been talking about the past couple of weeks. Well, interestingly, it now appears that Elite has taken CMLL's TV time on American television, because the US Lucha Azteca basically didn't air the Arena Mexico show from CMLL on Friday, but in its place had an edited version of the first episode of the Elite television show that's been on in Mexico, which isn't the full show. It's apparently there's roughly about 30 minutes or so that's been edited out, but basically it means Elite's getting that showcase and money and not CMLL. I mean, the notes that I've got here from the Cubs fan, or Lucha blog, or however you want to call it, says that they could easily air both CMLL and Elite, considering they're only showing a 2-month-old repeat of CMLL as a lead-in. And that is basically the outcome is the reverse of what was suggested was going on. So it's not CMLL seeing Elite's Mexico TV spot. It was Elite getting CMLL's US slot. So the whole breakup takes an interesting twist. Who knows how it develops over the next few weeks. Some sad news to report from C4 Wrestling up in Canada. We're due to be having a show this coming weekend. The show has been postponed, though. A statement on the C4 Wrestling Facebook page says this, quote, "Morning, everybody. I'm writing to share the unfortunate news that over the weekend we at C4 suffered a sudden and unexpected death in the family. The passing directly affects several people who are measurably important to the show operations of the promotion, and the existence of the organisation as a whole. At this moment, with respect to those affected, we're not going to be releasing further information publicly unless we're notified otherwise. I apologise for being vague, but please believe me when I say that the loss is a tremendous one and affects us all deeply. Our thoughts and prayers are with the entire Gibson family. As a result of this Saturday's event will be postponed until further notice. We apologise for this. It would simply be impossible to run the event this weekend. With the events of this past weekend in our hearts and minds, we thank you, all of you, for your support." So yeah, thoughts, respects, condolences, everything out to the Gibson family and the C4 family itself. And yeah, hope to see you back in action soon, certainly. AAA, the final little bit of news that I've got. AAA has announced its full card now for the Heroes Inmortales show next week. It is, no, I'm trying to think. No, it is next week. The same night as Bound for Glory. So the card has the tag titles on the line in a four-way, as Drago and Aerostar will be defending against Laredo Kid and Superfly. Nicho El Milenario, who apparently may or may not be Psychosis or Psychosis, whatever, teaming up with Damien Bestia 666. And the Clowns of Monster Clown and Murder Clown. Then the Antonio Pena Cup will be happening, featuring El Zorro, El Egidio, Nino Hamburguesa, and 8 mystery luchadors, which will be named at least between when I'm recording this and the show. There might be some mystery ones, there normally is. In a Lucha de Revancha match, aka the Revenge match, it'll be El Apache teaming up with Mary Apache and Fabi Apache to take on Averno, Chessman and Ricky Marvin. If you remember, that was the whole Mary's... Is it Mary's... Apache is married to one of the Apaches, and it's their daughter, whatever. It's Fabi or Mary. But basically, it just ended in a bloodbath and a match that not many people cared about. So we'll see. Then we got Team Mexico versus Team Trump, because this is a thing. La Parca, Tecano Jr. and El Hijo de Fantasma taking on Team Trump of El Macias. That's the name I couldn't remember from Lucha Underground last week, everybody. And 2 surprise luchadors, 2 luchador sorpresa. So you won't find out until the show. I mean, it could be Lucha Underground based. I'm just trying to think who. I guess we'll have to see. For the Latin American title, Johnny Mundo with Tayo will be defending against Garza Jr. There will be a hair versus mask match as Australian Suicide with Argenis takes on Darga with Joe Leader. Darga's hair's on the line, and Australian Suicide's mask will be up for grabs as well. And then the main event, the Lucha de Super Estelas, as they're advertising it. It will be El Patron, Alberto, or most people will call him Alberto El Patron, teaming up with Psycho Clown to take on Dr. Wagner Jr. and Pagano. So we're already starting to build the next year's Triple Mania with the whole Psycho Clown, Dr. Wagner Jr. We've also got Pagano and Psycho Clown in a replay of Triple Mania last month. And of course, the returning Alberto. So I'll probably run through that down again next week. But first up, in terms of results, because that's what we're getting onto now, we'll start off with New Japan. Their Destruction in Tokyo show at the Otto Ward General Gymnasium. Couple of thousand people there, not too bad. We had, going through the full list of results for this one, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta, Roppongi Vice beating Dave Finlay and Hanare, with a dude buster from Beretta on Hanare. Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi beat Yoshitatsu and Captain New Japan, with Nagata hitting the Exploder of Justice on Captain. Then Togi Makabe, Tomoaki Honma and Tiger Mask defeated Hiroshi Tenzan, Satoshi Kojima and Jushin Thunder Liger. Honma winning with a Kakeshi for his team. Team Chaos beat the Bullet Club as Goto, Ishii and Gedo beat Tamatonga Tangaloa and Chase Owens, with Ishii doing a vertical drop style brain buster on Tangaloa. And then the final non-special match, as they advertise it, saw Kyle O'Reilly beat Juice Robinson with the Armageddon. So yeah, from here, probably you had your interval here for the big ones. In the 6-man tag match, another win for Chaos over the Bullet Club, as Kazuchika Okada, Yoshihashi and Will Ospreay beat Kenny Omega, Bad Luck Fale and Yujiro. Yoshihashi getting the win, hitting Karma on Yujiro. And afterwards, Yoshihashi declared he will beat Kenny Omega for those Wrestle Kingdom challenge rights, which is this coming weekend. We'll get to that. In a 6-man tag, Los Ingonobles de Japón were successful. Naito, Sanada and Evil beating Michael Elgin, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Ryosuke Taguchi, with Sanada hitting the skull end on Taguchi. Afterwards, Naito attacked Elgin, focusing on the leg, again building up to this weekend's match. Then the one that seemed to be up in the air, Shibata versus Fish for the Never Openweight title. Despite the fact he's got spinal problems, he competed in the match, Shibata. Pretty crazy. And they had a pretty awesome match from what I've heard. And Shibata retained with a PK after about 16 minutes. And afterwards, it was Yeman, Kyle O'Reilly, that seemed to indicate that he wants a shot at the belt. So yeah, it's very interesting. The guys that are normally in the junior tag stuff are suddenly stepping up to actually be a part of way more serious stuff, which is good to see. Then finally, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. The champ has finally lost his belt. We have a new champ. Bushi beat Kushida following the MX after about 21 minutes or so. So Kushida drops the belt on his 6th title defense. And Bushi then declared himself as the new king. Obviously, because Kushida had been up there for quite a while. Bushi was saying he's usurped the throne, so Los Ingonobles de Japón have got a belt again, which is good to see. Next up, CMLL's Arena Mexico show from this Friday, this past Friday, last week, the 16th. The Legend show as it was being advertised. We had Estrelita, Marcela, and Sanali beat Amapola, La Jarashita, and La Metallica, which is the female match from what I've heard from Dave. Apparently there were debuts here for Jarashita and Metallica, who is the ex-Felina Metallica. She's just now La Metallica, for some reason. Blue Panther Cajos and Negro Navarro beats Mano Negra, Solo One, and Super Astro. It's noted this is the first time that Mano Negro and his daughter Sanelli, who was in the first match, actually wrestled on the same show. Then Fuerza Guerrera, Negro Casas, and Satanico beat Atlantis, El Fantasma, and Mascara Sagrada. Then we had Valiente beating Barbaro Cavernaria. Valiente replacing Mascara Dorada, who apologized on Twitter and said he'd be on the Tuesday Guadalajara show. We obviously know why he wasn't there, because he was part of the whole Monday Night Raw debut cruiserweight match. That's why he wasn't there. Then Euphoria, Matt Taven and Ultimo Guerrero beat Pirov, Rhea Scorpion and Rush. It's worth noting though that Taven used the ropes to beat Rush, which will set up a singles match on the weekly shows as they normally do in Mexico for next week between the two of them. And the main event, the interesting one, Canek Dos Caras Sr. and Rayo de Jalistico Jr. beat Cien Caras, Mascara, Anno 2000 and Universo 2000. The thing that's worth noting is the fans booed the hell out of the match, and quite a lot of them left before the match was even over. That main event was very disappointing in their eyes. Apparently the attendance for the show was pretty big, one of the biggest that CMLL's had of this year. Live reports, according to Lucha Blog, say that the fans liked the undercard matches, but then turned on the main event. The writer for Lucha Blog said, "I've got no doubt that the match wasn't much good. I've seen enough of those guys elsewhere of late to know it's not going to be any good, but it's a bit of a reality check for the guys in the match, but I guess also to the fans. I'm not sure they were surprised or why they bought tickets for the show without knowing what they'd be getting." So there you go. Ring of Honor's couple of house shows. First up, the Pittsburgh show on the Friday opened with a Women of Honor match as Kelly Klein, Vader Scott and Britt Baker beat Mandy Leon, Crazy Mary Dobson and Faye Jackson after Kelly Klein choked out Crazy Mary Dobson with a guillotine. ACH got the best of Will Ferreira with a 450 splash to the back. Jonathan Gresham victorious over Delirious with a rolling crucifix pin. Frankie Kazarian beat Chris Sabin thanks to a Kamitachi distraction, which allowed Kazarian to hit a vertical suplex on Sabin. And just to add insult to injury, Kamitachi held Sabin's feet down during the pinfall. Then next we had Alex Shelley beat Kamitachi with a side cradle after hitting the reverse Russian leg sweep into the second turnbuckle. Then the Briscoes beat Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser, Rowan Hansen and Rhett Titus and Kenny King in the four-way match. Titus and King, this is the one that was really sort of controversial, that irked quite a lot of people online. I don't know if this is what they were looking for. The cabinet of Titus and King decided to kneel down during the Code of Honor to protest the oppression that they're experiencing in Ring of Honor, which led to everybody beating the shit out of them. Think about it. These are the guys that are supposed to be very, very Trump in their appearance of, you know, we're making wrestling great again. Yet they're doing the whole kneel thing, which is pissing off Trump. So, I don't know. It's become a mess. I hope Delirious doesn't pursue this too much further, because I don't think it's really sticking. It's just making them look like also-rans, which is a shame, because Titus and King and Coleman are better wrestlers than this. Very much so. Anyway, Jay Briscoe hit Beer City Bruiser with a neck breaker, and then Mark Briscoe pinned him after a froggy bow. Next we had Cheeseburger beat Chris LaRusso with a running palm strike. After the match, BJ and a large flunky, which may or may not have been Punisher Martinez, but it isn't listed, so I'd have thought it would have been, attacked Cheeseburger and LaRusso. Colby Corino tried to make the save but was laid out. Then Steve Corino showed up and had a bizarre, quiet confrontation with BJ and his son. Very interesting. I don't know whether that means this is going to be taped for television because it sort of appears it might be. We'll see. Anyway, Leo Rush beat Caprice Coleman after the rush hour. Jay White victorious over Christopher Daniels with something looking like a Michinoku driver. And then the main event saw Jay Lethal, Dalton Castle with the boys, and Colt Cabana beat the Bullet Club of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. Basically, Colt dropped Nick Jackson on the top turnbuckle. Lethal then hit the lethal injection, and then Dalton finished him off with a bangerang. So a triple team, if you will, to finish it. Now, the Lockport, New York show from this Saturday had a dark match at first. The person that did the notes, or one of the notes, I think his name was Ian. It's all on the PW Ponderings site. It had a winner and a loser. So there you go. Then we had a story time with Adam Cole a little bit, with Adam saying he was supposed to have a match with local talent, but decided against it because he's Adam Cole, baby. And stayed in the ring to cut his promo as long as he could, but then complained about having to look at the ugly crowd. So, you know, cheap heel heat. Then, opening match itself, Jay Lethal beat Silas Young. Then we had Kamatachi beat Jonathan Gresham. In the first of the triple threats, it was Christopher Daniels got the win over Chris Sabin and Matt Jackson. Then in the six-man tag, we had the Cabinet beating ACH, Jay White and Leo Rush. Then we had a Women of Honor match. Taylor Hendricks and Jessica Havoc getting the win over Deonna Purrazzo and Mande Leone. Then the second of the triple threat tag matches, it was Alex Shelley that beat Nick Jackson and Frankie Kazarian. Though it is worth noting, Nick was being Nick. He basically, for one of the spots, he walked across the guardrail like the Indy Taker move during his entrance. Then got the ref to stand in for Matt Jackson to do the whole Young Bucks pose. He told a fan off, apparently, and told him to suck it because the fan paid to watch him wrestle and nothing else. Later pointed out the same fan then cheering for him later in the match, because it's like, no, that's not why you're here. Interestingly, Nick and Shelley worked together for quite a bit of the match, doing Young Buck and Motor City double team moves, and then Nick turned on him, right, you know, I guess super kicked him, going, that's what we call a double cross. Who knows? So then we had the Briscoes beating Colt Cabana and Dalton Castle. With this one, a fan throughout the match was asking Colt how he's doing. And Colt was responding, of course, you know, really good, pretty good, not so good, in the Colt fashion. Dalton was saying quite early on he wanted the match done because he wanted to go get ice cream. And then said, oh no, I wanted to wrestle. But then, of course, the fans were now chanting, we want ice cream. Which is a bit awkward. Then we had the Ring of Honor Battle Royal, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's the Honor Battle Royal. With Silas Young. For this one, Adam Cole came to commentary, to the happiness of Steve Corino. So even though he's in his own feud, he loves Adam Cole. Apparently they did Too Sweet. And then Cole sent Corino to the back. And of course everybody went, no, we want Corino. First people out for the match were Silas Young and Jay Lethal. Steve Corino actually came out during the match and called out Adam for kicking him off commentary. And then Nick Jackson came to the ring with a sheet pizza and then declared it a pizza party. not a super kick party, pizza party, and was apparently handing out free slices to the crowd and Adam Cole. There was a bit when the Bucks both eliminated themselves by flying over the top rope to attack Addiction and Motor City Machine Guns. So, you know, bit crazy. Then we had a big surprise entry. James Bull, aka the former NXT talent Bull Dempsey. Seemed to do pretty well. And then based on some of the tweets he's put out, it looks like he will be coming back for some more matches soon. Punisher Martinez did quite a few eliminations, apparently, including choke slamming Beer City Bruiser onto the apron to eliminate him. And eventually the final two, out of 25 entrants, were Silas Young and Jay Lethal. So yeah, the first two in were the last two in. And it was due to the fact, of course, that Lethal injured his knee. They stressed that in the angle when he took on Silas Young earlier on in the night. It was that led Silas to manage to get the win, and then cut a promo after saying Jay Lethal might have won early in the night, but when the chips were down and the title was on the line, he was a better man. I don't think there was really a title other than like being the Honor Rumble winner. Either way, Adam Cole then made fun of Lethal for losing and how terrible he must feel. You know, stopped to take a picture of him on his phone, I guess. But then Lethal goaded Cole into saying, "Let's have a match right here, right now," and called him chicken for not fighting the local talent he was supposed to. And then the fight ensued because Jay Lethal said, "Oh, I didn't know you had the Ring of Honor Women's title." And we had a sort of impromptu match between Lethal and Cole. It was basically just sort of a beatdown, which did actually have a match because Lethal got a very sneaky small package, which then, of course, caused Cole to call out the Young Bucks, which started the 3-on-1 beatdown. And Colt Cabana and Dalton Castle made the save. And then culminated with Dalton thanking... Briscoes also came out along with Colt for the help, thanked the crowd, and then said, "Well, we're all going for ice cream now." So, yay, ice cream, apparently. Next up, Preston City Wrestling's Wrexham Mania had the Interracial Love. I guess that's the name of the tag team. I don't know. Of Ashton Smith and Charlie Garrett beating Lionheart and Shay Samuels. Yestin Reese victorious over T-Bone. Rio beating Jenny B. Martin Kirby getting the win over Chris Ridgway. Dean Allmark beating Kaza Sakamoto. Dave Rain defeating Philip Michaels. Jimmy D victorious over Liam Lazarus. And the main event saw Dave Mastiff beating Bram. So, no Drew Galloway. I don't know what happened with that. Haven't looked into it. PWX, I haven't... Queens of Combat, I guess it is. Haven't got any results for the Queens of Combat 14 show from the Friday as part of the CWF Mid-Atlantic stuff. But I do have the Queens of Combat 15 results from the PWX doubleheader. Ironically, I don't have PWX results. It's very hard to find them online. Anyway. So this card had Darcy Dixon beating Chastity Taylor, Malaya Osaka and Ronnie Nicole beating Kira Hogan and Rudy Jordan, Nevaeh getting the win over Thunder Kitty. In a four-way, we had Rachel Ellering victorious over Angel Rose, Samantha Heights and Savannah Evans. Nicole Savoy got the win over Kennedy Brink. And the main event for the show saw Sue Young beat Ariel Monroe. Not as strong as a card that the Queens of Combat guys have had in recent months, but I guess due to circumstances and whatever, it was still a pretty solid show from what I can tell from those results and from what I've seen from reports of the event. So next up, House of Hardcore from this past weekend. First up, the Friday show from Long Island. We have Matt Striker beating Alex Reynolds, Team Tremendous of Dan Barry and Bill Carr teaming up with Connor Braxton beating CJ Mira, TJ Marconi and Vic Delicious. Masquerita Dorada beats Swoggle. Okay, so Lucha wins. Brian Myers got the win over Pat Buck. Bull James got a victory over Eddie Kingston. Matt Hardy with Senor Benjamin beat Aaron Rex. Ricochet beat Tony Nese. And then in a street fight, Reno was victorious over Tommy Dreamer. It's worth noting, though, that interfering in this match, I don't know who on behalf of, Sandman, I guess, was in Tommy Dreamer's corner. And because it's Rhino and SmackDown, we had Pete Gas interfering, getting involved in the match. Who knows? Now, the notes from the House of Hardcore 18 show from Saturday, from the old ECW arena, the 2300 arena. The one thing first to mention is there was a little in-ring promo bit with Terry Funk, who was really not in great shape. What's transpired from interviews and whatever, and Dave Meltzer and all that, is basically he's had hernia surgery. Or, I think he's just had it. And he was due to be part of, I think, a show in Japan where he was wrestling, but wasn't able to at all. But I guess felt, because it was Tommy's promotion, that he wanted to show up and do something. He was obviously supposed to be involved in the stuff, but Tommy was like, no, I'm not having you, risk your health and whatever. So when he got in the ring, Funk seemed to indicate, this might be the last time you see me in the ring. Then again, he said that before, so we'll have to see how he recovers from the surgery. But yeah, best wishes to Terry Funk in his recovery from that. I've heard hernia surgeries can be pretty excruciating pain-wise, so the fact that he actually showed up is full credit to him, I will say. The opening match of the show saw Robbie E beating Lance Anawati. Apparently afterwards, Robbie E claimed he was the greatest wrestler of all time, which then saw Santino coming out and getting involved. Possibly hitting him with a Cobra, I don't know. Then we had a three-way elimination match. So I guess triple threat elimination, three-way dance. First up, John Silver eliminated Pat Buck. And your winner was Alex Reynolds after he eliminated John Silver. Then we had Eddie Kingston, TJ Marconi and Vic Delicious beating Connor Braxton and Team Tremendous detectives Bill Carr and Dan Barry. However, there was a stipulation in this match on whoever got pinned would have to leave the company forever. And the guy that got pinned was Detective Bill Carr. So I guess Team Tremendous is only 50% tremendous now. Chris Hero beat Tony Nese. Then in Brian Myers' final match before he headed to the E, he successfully teamed up with Swoggle to take on Masquerita Dorada and Matt Striker. So I guess SmackDown versus Lucha. Myers gave his farewell promo, but was interrupted by Ryback, making his debut. I don't know if he took out Myers. All I know is Ryback showed up. Ricochet beat Sami Callihan. And then the main event, the Extreme Rules match. Matt Hardy with Senor Benjamin and the Scribe. Don't know whether that was Rebby or not. Beat Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer himself in the match, because again, here's the surprises. Tommy Dreamer got help from Joey Styles, which I believe that was the replacement for Funk in some capacity. Beulah McGillicuddy, and also Sandman. And Matt Hardy got assistance from Reby Sky, which I'm guessing the Scribe isn't that. And also Raven assisted. And afterwards, Hardy tried to set fire to Tommy, but was stopped by Bubba. Bubba Ray Dudley making his return to the company. Alpha One Wrestling's Matt Rats 2. There was a bit of an interesting kerfuffle here in one of the matches, which is pretty soon up. First up, we had Cheech beating Young Miles, but then I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be a 6-person tag. What it turned into was a 2-on-1 handicap match. So I don't know what happened, but it was Scotty O'Shea with Ethan Page beating Joey Kings and Josh Alexander. So I don't know what happened to Sleazier and whoever, I can't remember the other person that was set to be in the match. So per those stipulations, I think Shea, Page, and the third person, whoever it was, so I can't remember off the top of my head, they're going to be in charge, like, you know, they're going to be like guest GM for the next show in October, so I'm guessing that still applies. We'll have to see. Alex Daniels beat Dominic Guarini. Then it doesn't say what happened with the whole JJ Santini saying whether Dick Justice was a cop, because of course JJ is supposedly a detective himself, but the fact that he was in the corner of Dick Justice and their tag team partner Swoggle, I'm guessing it probably means he is still a cop in some shape or capacity. Anyway, they managed to beat the Black Spades of Just Insane and Lionel Knight. Then a 4-way eliminator. It was Gavin Quinn with Gregory Iron beating Kurt Stallion, Davey Vega, and Ricky Shane Page. And then your title matches. Alessandro Del Bruno retains the A1 Zero Gravity title, beating Shane Saber. Theory of Evolution of Jim Nye and the Space Monkey retaining over Team IOU of Kerry Orful and Nick Iggy. And then the last wrestler standing match for the Alpha Male title. We have a new champ. Kobe Durst beats Heidi Lovelace. So Kobe is Alpha Male champion. Then the Smash Wrestling shows. The Smash vs Progress triple header. First up, the Uncensored show from Friday in Oshawa, Ontario. The Dark Tag match had Fight or Flight of Gabriel Fuerza and Vaughn Vertigo beating D-Man and the Muscle. Then Jules Malone beating Sebastian Suave. Evil Uno victorious over Jack Gallagher. Jesse Amato beating Jackson Jarvis in a hardcore match. Brent Banks defeated Mark Andrews. Mark Haskins successfully retained the Smash Wrestling title against Maybach Beta. And then the hardcore tag team main event, the London Riots of James Davis and Rob Lynch beat Facade and the Space Monkey. Night 1 of the official 2-night header at the Franklin Horner Community Centre in Toronto had Mark Andrews defeating Scotty O'Shea, Mike Rollins beating Jack Gallagher, the London Riots of Davis and Lynch beating the Overdogs of John Greed and Sebastian Suave. In the Smash Wrestling title #1 contendership ladder match, it was Kevin Bennett that won, beating Facade. Evil Uno victorious over El Ligero. Zack Sabre Jr. getting the win over Tarek. And then the main event had Mark Haskins retain the Smash Wrestling title once again, beating Brent Banks. And night 2 saw in the dark tag match Facade and Mark House beating Fight or Flight. Frankie the Mobster getting the win over El Ligero. So from what I can tell, El Ligero lost both his matches. That's a bit of a shame. Then again, that's only because I'm used to WCPW probably. In the Three Corners tag match, the Super Smash Brothers of Stu Grayson and Evil Uno beat the London Riots and the Well-Oiled Machines of Mike Rollins and Pepper Parks. Jack Gallagher beat John Greed. Tyson Dukes victorious over Zack Sabre Jr. Mark Andrews beat Kevin Bennett. Mark Haskins successfully retained the Smash Wrestling title for a third time, beating Speedball Mike Bailey. And then the fans bring the keyboard match. It was Scotty O'Shea getting the win over Brent Banks. Then AAW's defining moment from this past Friday. Prince Mustafa Ali, Ray Horus's match was ruled a no contest due to injury. Not sure who to, but hope it isn't too serious. The besties in the world of Matt Fitchett and David Vega defeated OI4K to retain the tag belts. That OI4K of the Chris brothers of Jake and Dave. Josh Alexander beat Drew Gulak with a tombstone piledriver. Heidi Lovelace and Kimberly, or as they wanted to be called, Love Lee, beat the Hooligans. Sammy Callahan beat Abyss. Then the 6-man saw Andrew Everett, Trevor Lee and Jack Evans beat Moose, Desmond Xavier and AR Fox. Apparently this match had a balcony dive, a dance-off, and quite a bit more. And it was Trevor Lee pinning Xavier with a swanton. Hello, Hardy. Then Jeff Cobb beat Matt Riddle to earn a spot in the Jim Liner Memorial Tournament. And then the main event had somewhat of an upset, with Phoenix beating Chris Hero of a pole driver. Afterwards, both men gave very passionate speeches about the company and each other. Phoenix was all about living your dreams. And quite a few people apparently were tearing up in the event. In terms of their next show, October 7th, so in a couple of weeks, it's the 2-day Jim Liner Memorial Tournament. Night 1 on the Friday will be in Bourbon Street as usual. But then Saturday they move to the Bowen Eagles Club in Chicago. Well, in Berwyn, Illinois. The tournament itself, they haven't announced the full list of names just yet, but already confirmed for the tournament are Drew Gulak, Chuck Taylor, Silas Young, Kamatachi, Josh Alexander, Brian Cage, Eddie Kingston, Matt Fitchett, Dave Vega, AR Fox, and, because of his win, Jeff Cobb. If you want tickets to that event, if you are in the area, go to aawrestling.com/tickets. You can find out all the info there. And then Shikara's Black Goodbye show from the Wrestle Factory this past Saturday. Turns out it was streamed for free on Facebook. I'm annoyed with myself now. We had Princess Kimberly beat the Rogue Lobster with the Alligator Clutch. Team Big Deal with Rick Rowland and Sloan Caprice beat Suplex Steven and Brandon Body Slam. Icarus and Mark Angelisetti victorious over the Colony, with Icarus pinning Silverant after a clothesline after working over Silverant's injured arm. Hermit Crab got the win over Amassis, making Amassis submit to the Flat Crab. Interesting to note that Angelisetti jumped to Amassis before the bell. Then Juan Francisco de Coronado and his new partner, apparently, Wani, beat Worker Ant and Bullet Ant, with Juan making Bullet Ant submit to the Coronado Clutch. Then the Batiri of Barbarian, Kodama and Kobold beat Ophidian, Oleg and Heidi Lovelace after taking the Skull Bronzing on Oleg the Usurper. And then Hello Wicked retained the Grand Championship, beating Drew Gulak with the Never Wake Up. So, yeah, overall a very successful night, you could argue, for Nazmaldun, or Hello Wicked Stable, whatever you call it. And in the encore match, Des Peloton beat Sonny Defarge and Cornelius Crumbles with a top rope splash. And then finally from last week, the little bit of UFC news. On the Fight Pass preliminary card, Randy Brown beat Eric Montano with a third round Anaconda choke submission. And then we had a majority draw between Alejandro Perez and Albert Morales. One of the judges gave it 29-27, but the other two gave it 28-28 each. The key thing to note here is that Perez was deducted 1 point for hitting Morales after the bell, or after the hooter or whatever. So that's why those 29-28s became 28-28, so it's his own fault. There you go. On the Fox Sports 1 prelim card, Gabriel Benitez beat Sam Sicilia with a guillotine choke submission in the second round. We had Belal Muhammad beat Augusto Montano via TKO in the third round, pretty late on, with only about a minute to go. Antonio Carlos Jr. beat Leonardo Augusto Guimaraes with a rear naked choke submission with only about 15 seconds to go. Worth noting that even though it didn't come to effect, Carlos Jr. was deducted 1 point in the first round due to an illegal knee. And then finally on the prelim card, Jose Quinones beat Joey Gomez via unanimous decision. Two of the judges giving it 30-27 and the other one giving it 29-28 to Jose. Or Jose. And then the main card, also on Fox Sports 1, the main part of the show. Chaz Skelly beat Maximo Blanco via a first round Anaconda choke in only 19 seconds, so yeah, that was over pretty quick. Islam Makhachev beat Chris Wade unanimously on decision. All three judges giving it 29-28 to Islam. Roan Canario beat Kenny Robertson via split decision. It was 28-29 to Robertson, then 30-27 to Canario, and then 29-28 to Canario as well. Evan Dunham beat Rick Glenn, unanimous decision. It was a 3-0 on all the judges' cards of 30-27. Then Derek Brunson beat Uriah Hall with first round TKO. And then Michael Johnson beat Dustin Poirier with first round KO. In terms of the bonuses, Evan Dunham and Rick Glenn's match got Fight of the Night, so both fighters get $50,000. For the performances of the night, it was Michael Johnson for his knockout in the main event, and Chaz Skelly for his 19-second submission at the start of the main card. So again, $50,000 to each of them as well. So that's last week. Previewing this week's stuff. So New Japan has got its second weekend of action. So first up, the Hiroshima show. I won't run through all the matches. If you want to find it, I'm pretty sure it'll be on New Japan World, the full card. Certainly it'll be on trying to think, it will be on the place I go to is puroresuspirit.net. But the big ones on this first card of the two has the Briscoes defending the IWGP tag belts against the Young Bucks. Will Ospreay one-on-one with Adam Cole. Kazuchika Okada taking on Bad Luck Fale. And then Kenny Omega putting his Wrestle Kingdom title shot on the line against Yoshihashi. That's happening this Thursday, so it's probably already happened by the time you're watching this. So I don't know whether they'll give it to the Young Bucks. Would be interesting. Ospreay versus Cole should be very fun, and I'm guessing Omega's going to retain that one. And then finally this Sunday, Destruction in Kobe at the World Memorial Hall. The big matches on this one, especially if you're looking at it. The Never Six-Man Tag belts on the line as Satoshi Kojima, Ricochet and Matt Sydal defend against Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. So yeah, Bullet Club. I guess it'll be the first time Adam Cole will be on the New Japan show properly as part of Bullet Club. Then there's an 8-man tag as Goto, Ishii and the Briscoes take on Kenny Omega, Bad Luck Fale and the Guerrillas of Destiny. In another Chaos versus Bullet Club. Then they've got Tanahashi, Juice Robinson and Kushida taking on Sanada, Evil and Bushi. Then it's Okada, Yoshihashi, Yado and Gedo facing Namuchi Marufuji, Daisuke Harada, Atsushi Kotoge and Toru Yano. That's a weird fit. How's Toru Yano going to fit there? I don't know. And then the Intercontinental title match. Michael Elgin defending against Tetsuya Naito. But that isn't the only big event happening in Japan this week. This Friday sees... Actually, no, this Thursday as well. In Tokyo. Dragon Gate Japan is having its Dangerous Gate show. From what I can tell, all of the major titles are on the line in this one. So I won't run through the whole card. If you want more details on it, iHeartDG.com. But the title matches, Aita defends the Brave Gate title against Brother Yashi. The Triangle Gate belt on the line as Genki Horiguchi, H.A. Jimmy, Ryo Jimmy Saito and Jimmy Kanda, aka the Jimmies, take on BB Hulk, KZ and Yosuke Santa Maria. Then there's an Ota City special 8-man tag as Masato Yoshino, T-Talk, Big R and Peter Kasa face Chima, Dragon Kid, Masaki Mochizuki and Flamita. There must be a reason why that's in between the title matches. That's why I'm mentioning that one rather than the other couple of matches on the card and the dark match. And then the other two title matches, the Twin Gate titles on the line as Jimmy Susumu and Jimmy Kagetora, more of the Jimmies, take on Naruki Doi and Shingo Takagi. And then they open the Dream Gate title on the line, Yamato defending against Akira Tozawa in what may be Tozawa's last match in Japan before he heads to the E as part of the whole cruiserweight stuff. So we'll see. Speaking of farewells as well, Preston City Wrestling this Saturday has Dar Wars, the end of the era, because Noam Dar will be having his final UK show for you. I think possibly his final show on the independent scene altogether before he heads to the E as well. He's set to be on the card, but not against anybody that I'm aware of at the minute. But in terms of matches, Angelico versus Jack Evans. Angelico and Jack Evans, aka the White Boys from Heaven, take on the London Riots. Charlie Garrett takes on Chris Ridgway. That's a relatively last-minute replacement for Saraya Knight versus Viper, which had to be postponed due to one of the two of them having to withdraw due to other commitments and whatever. So it will be happening on a later show because of the bitter rival between those two. Also on the card, Yeston Reese versus Danny Hope. Dave Mastiff taking on Kazuma Sakamoto. Sammy Smooth versus El Ligero. And then your two title matches for the night. The tag titles on the line as Team Single defend against the Hooligans in TLC 2. Or at least their incarnation of TLC 2, because obviously there's been more than 2 TLC matches in the history of wrestling, I think. And then Bubblegum defends the Cruiserweight title against Zack Sabre Jr. And sticking with the UK theme, Progress Wrestling has its Chapter 36 show, aka We're Gonna Need a Bigger Room, again, at the O2 Academy in Brixton. On this one, 6-woman tag action with Laura Di Matteo, Nixon Newell, and Pollyanna taking on Alex Windsor, Dahlia Black, and Ginny. Pastor William Eva, one-on-one with Sebastian. The Origin stable of Dave Mastiff, El Ligero, Nathan Cruz, and Zach Gibson face Damon Moser, Eddie Dennis, Mark Andrews, and Jack Gallagher. And the stipulation is if Origin lose the match, they must disband for good. Then Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tommaso Ciampa in a 2 out of 3 falls match. That's probably Tommaso's last. That may be Tommaso's last Indy commitment, to be quite honest. So it's interesting to see it's in the UK and it's that man Zack again for it. The London Riots defend the Progress Tag Belts against the British Strong Style. Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown go one-on-one to find out who wins the Atlas tournament, because that's the final of that tournament. And then the Progress World title match, Marty Scurll defends against Mark Haskins and Tommy End. So again, another talent that's having their last indie match from what I can tell this weekend. Tommy End says farewell by going to Progress. And Fight Club Pro this Friday at the Fixham Warehouse in Wolverhampton. Project Mayhem 5. The only confirmed matches so far. There's going to be a tables match with Wild Boar and Mike Bird taking on the Hunter Brothers. In a rematch from last show, or a couple of shows back, Nixon Newell one-on-one with Jessica Havoc. Tyler Bate takes on Travis Banks. Trent Seven faces Drew Galloway. And then in a Fans Bring the Weapons death match, Chris Brooks takes on Clint Margera. And there'll probably be a few more matches as well. On Point Wrestling's got a beautiful day to die coming up this Saturday at the OTW Arena in Williamstown, New Jersey. General admission and second row tickets at $20 will be available at the door to purchase. On the card, Xavier Cross is set to appear with Loudy, but no confirmed match for him. Unbreakable Andy takes on Drake Chambers. Call the Beast one-on-one with Steve Scott. Gran Akuma taking on Vinny Margasalia. We've got the Fantastic Four-Way. Don't remind me of that film. As Pele, Primo, Alex Payne, Devon Moore, and Connor Claxton take on each other. In a Falls Count Anywhere tag match, Jeff Cannonball teams up with Matt Tremont to take on Mark Angel and Jimmy Lyon. Tony Deppen, one-on-one with Arcadia. The OPW title on the line as Bad Boy Joey Janela defends against Drew Blood. And then in the Dream Death match, the Survival of the Sickest 2016 winner, I think it is, Low Life Louis Ramos, gets to go one-on-one with Masada. They also apparently will be announcing Mass of the Mat 2 participants and first round matches, which I think is the show coming up next month, I believe. And also Matt Riddle is coming in, and his opponent for the 3rd of December show will be announced as well as part of the stuff on the show. So we'll see. House of Glory's All or Nothing at the Queensborough Lodge in Elmshurst, New York. Doors open at 5 with meet and greets at 6 and a showtime at 8. You can get more details over at the House of Glory Facebook page. Only 4 matches announced. We've got the tag title #1 contendership tournament. I'm guessing these are the semi-finals. Beaver Boys taking on Private Party and EYFBO facing Sonia Strong and Sasha Jenkins. And then the other two title matches, because I don't know whether that tournament for the tag titles is going to culminate on the night. That doesn't seem clear. Ken Broadway defends the Crown Jewel Championship against Tony Nese, and EC3 defends the heavyweight title against Brian Cage. Apparently more matches will accrue during the show, so there will be more matches. It's just they're keeping it relatively close to their chest. Smash Wrestling are having some stuff this weekend. So this Friday, they're going to be part of the Fanshawe College, I guess, campus sort of freshers sort of stuff. Yeah, Falwell Hall at Fanshawe College. Tickets will be available on the door, apparently. And then over the rest of the week, the Saturday, no, that's 22nd, so that's actually Thursday, that Smash Wrestling show. So again, it might have already happened if it gets out there quickly enough and you are in the Fanshawe College area in London, Ontario. Check it out. And then Friday, Saturday and Sunday, Smash Wrestling, I will believe, will be having matches and will also be a part of the London, Ontario Comic Con. So if you go into that, check out the Smash Wrestling people. They are pretty awesome. AIW will be having their next show. A big one, because it's the whole shebang. A farewell to Johnny Gargano. Featuring his final independent match before he heads off for good. Set to appear at the show are Swoggle, Tracy Smothers, Marty Bell, Gregory Iron, and possibly more. But the match is confirmed so far. The one that's being labelled as Johnny Gargano's Kids Go to War, his students, and are in a six-way scramble of Dominic Guarini, Garrison King, Britt Baker, Brian Carson, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and Frankie Flynn. Then there's a four-way between Eric Ryan, Jane Schultz, Gringo Loco, and Sanjay Dutt. The Weird World takes on the Space Justice, a Space Monkey and Super Cop Dick Justice in tag action. More tag action as To Infinity and Beyond take on the Jollyville Fuckets. Yes, that's the name. I'm sorry. I can't really go. It's because then it sounds like, are they called the Fartits? They're not. It's Fuck It. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams one-on-one with Shigehiro Iri. Your two title matches sees Alex Daniels defend the Intense title, accompanied by No Strings Attached, taking on the bad boy Joey Janela. And Josh Prohibition defends the Absolute title against the captain of the ship, Louis Linden. And then in Gargano's last indie wrestling match, I have to smile because I know who he's facing. And you can probably guess now. Gargano's facing his wife. Johnny Gargano takes on Candice LeRae in a 2 out of 3 falls match to find out who's the man of the house. Should be very good. I will probably be crying in my sleep when that match happens. And by the way, congratulations to both Candice and Johnny. If you've seen like the wedding party video with Chuck and Tommaso and all that, it's a great one to check out. And finally on the wrestling front, final Ring of Honor show before All-Star Extravaganza next week. In Duluth, Georgia, they're going to be. The Infinite Energy Center, formerly the Gwinnett Center. Doors open at 5:30 with a pre-show at 6:45 with a 7 p.m. bell time. Will Ferreira set to be part of the show, but no confirmed match for him. Also, in confirmed matches, we've got Leo Rush taking on Jonathan Gresham. Caprice Coleman versus Delirious. The War Machine taking on the Cabinet / All Night Express of Titus and King. Silas Young one-on-one with Stevie Richards. Random. Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Dalton Castle with the boys. Then we got Lucha Rules. So it's basically if anybody gets thrown out the ring, somebody can immediately come in. There's no tags necessary. It's going to be Jay White teaming up with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin to take on the Addiction of Kazarian and Daniels with Kamatachi. You can see why that's becoming a thing. And then we've got the Ringmaster Challenge. Cabana versus Lethal. This is sort of a 3 stages of hell, but just not that crazy. So, the first fall is a pinfall only fall. The second fall can only be won via submission. Then the third fall, if necessary, will be a 30-minute Iron Man match. God, Cabana and Lethal are going to steal the show. And then, on top of all that, you've got your usual state of affairs in the UFC. As I previously mentioned, we're pretty much getting matches every week until, I think, like mid-October or late October. This time it's Fight Night Brasilia. They're heading to the capital of Brazil for Cyborg versus Landsborg. That's the banner title anyway. This Saturday. Prelim card on Fight Pass. We'll have Vicente Luque versus Hector Urbina in the welterweight division, and a couple of lightweight matches as Alan Patrick takes on Stevie Ray, and Glacio Franca taking on Gregor Gillespie. Then on the Fox Sports 1 prelim card, Gilbert Burns versus Mikael Prazeres in the lightweight division. Rani Yahar taking on Mishinori Tanaka in the bantamweight division. Flyweight action as UCA Formiga goes against Dustin Ortiz. And then the welterweight match sees Eric Silva take on Luan Chagas. And then your main card, a couple of featherweight. Well, I'll go through them in order. In the featherweight division, we got Godofredo Pepe versus Mike De La Torre. Middleweight action as Thiago Santos takes on Eric Spicely. Then we got lightweight match between Francisco Trinaldo and Paul Felder. Heavyweight match with Roy Nelson taking on Antonio Silva. Pretty sure that's Bigfoot. Not sure because I think there is a couple of them. There's a couple of Antonio Silvas in UFC, or am I getting that confused in the Guerreras? I think that's Bigfoot anyway. They are going with a fair hefty trio of Brazilian talents for the Brazilian show, unsurprisingly. So it's sort of a triple head main event. Then you've got Raynan Barao taking on Philip Nover in the featherweight division. And then the main event, Christian Justino, aka Cyborg, takes on, debuting in UFC anyway, Lena Landsberg, in what's being billed as a woman's catchweight fight. Basically, I think Justino is like a hunt. She's refusing to like come down in weight to like get to the point of, because UFC are like, we want you to be in the women's title picture, you know, with Ronda and all that, and she's like, no. She's missing out on all this money just because of her own whatever. Because the thing is, she probably could go down and massacre them all and be an even bigger star than she is, but there you go. So yeah, that's why it's a catch weight. It's not like somebody missed weight or anything. They're actually just doing it like that because they want Cyborg on the card. Brazil wants Cyborg, and if she loses, embarrassing. But it's like, well, wrong fault. But I don't think she will, probably. So, that's all the Indy UFC stuff for this week. As previously mentioned, if you're looking for the mainstream stuff, your Raws, your SmackDowns, your TNAs, your Lucha Undergrounds, whatever, that'll be coming slightly later than this weekend because of my trip to the convention. But until then, if you're just interested in the indie stuff, hope you come back next week as we say farewell to so many guys before they go to the E. God damn it, why did you have to bury the cruiserweights on the third hour, you bastard?